this tips and tricks series, where I'm going to be showing you some tips and some tricks on how to build a city in City Skyline. Obviously, last time out we used obviously a map from before. Let me just go get that map that we used, or shall I use a different map? Let me just have a look. Need to delete some of these. Can delete that one now. Keep that one for now. Got so many cities I can see here. But yeah, today we're obviously building this one, obviously, and hopefully we can build a decent sort of image. We'll have to start one new anyway. Right, here we go. Left hand drive on all that. Don't want any money, don't really care, because the whole point of this series is about showing you some just tips and tricks that later on, maybe not to start off with, that you could use in your city to build with. So, for instance, obviously, roundabouts is going to be today's episode, really about, and how roundabouts, can be very, very beneficial to your city that you're going to design. Because obviously, one of the things I think a lot of people forget about City Skylines, it can be quite tricky to build. Again, same map as yesterday by the looks of it, but that's okay, it'll work out perfectly. So, roundabouts. As you can see, we've got a selection of 4 different roundabouts, as you can see. Overall, here's just show you them as they are. So this one is a motorway roundabout, so you may want to use this, let's say, for your motorway at some point. It could be a good roundabout to use. Obviously, it won't be used today in today's video, so we can delete really all of this stuff, as you can see here, which is okay. I don't mind deleting that. Obviously, a bit of work to clean up though. So the next type of roundabout ain't a roundabout next one. Technically, I'm going to show you, but again, it's another motorway system. That will be very handful for your motorways, or can be for sure. A handy tool if you want to use it on your motorways at any point. I'm sure it could be a handy tool. But next tool is this one. As you can see, I'm not going to actually place this one down because that took a bit long to clean up. But as you can see, again, motorway sort of system. Basically, what that is, it's basically this. Okay, as you can see, same thing. Okay, just this has obviously been located further up, as you can see up there. So yeah, obviously that's one. Then we got the big roundabout. Pretty sure that's that's the big one. Here's like the medium or the small one. So as you can see, obviously there is our roundabouts, and yeah. So how are we going to place our roundabouts? Well, we're going to have, because it's a small space, we'll probably have 3 roundabout, well, 2 big ones, so maybe about that size. It needs to be quite lined up. That does. I think that's lined up. Okay, so 3 big one, 2 big ones, and then obviously in the middle we're gonna have about 2 small ones, as you can see here. So yeah, this is going to then be our roundabout. Okay, this is our mini city that we're going to work with. So let's connect then these up, and you'll see what happens. So you can use any road layout you want. Okay, there's no harm in using a road layout, let's say, that you think's good. Okay, and as you'll see, this is what we're going to do for it. So obviously, as you can see, very simple to connect things up with roundabouts. You can keep it very nice and simple. And there you go. As you can see, we got some 3 large main roads. Then obviously here for the smaller roads, as you can see, fairly simple again. Just connect that up, connect our dots up. Likewise fact, what we're going to do, we're going to probably move this roundabout somewhat to a degree. So we're going to move this roundabout slightly, position it a little bit left for that. So obviously, you have to be careful, as I say, where you place them. Okay, roundabouts, because obviously they're not exactly big structures now, are they? Want that about there. That seems about right now. And pretty simple. Again, connect that up. Okay, going for this nice grass effect here then. As you can see, okay, so this is gonna come a bit short, this one, but don't worry, fairly simple, as you can see there. Then, pretty simple, bang, and that is our roundabout system, more or less, now done. So, obviously, one, don't want that, I don't think, no, definitely don't want that. So, right, that's our map. We've in a way laid out our map, okay, now all we've got to do is lay down a connecting road, so people can obviously come to our to our roundabout system and use it, of course. Gonna do that. So pretty simple, two-way road, obviously, one for exiting and entering the city. Now, also, we're gonna be quite clever in how we position this. So one of the things you can do with motorway or roundabouts is this. Okay, just dot to dot. Pretty simple, clever idea, and as you can see, what that effectively does, okay, is creates this passageway where people, guess what, can go. If they want, let's say, to go straight across, they have to go around. But if, let's say, they're just wanting to go up this road, they can use that short bypass and bypass it. Fairly simple, okay, overall it's not hard to do, to connect that up, obviously, and yeah, you know, it's a fairly simple idea overall, and it's pretty unique. You can do it with all your roundabouts. Obviously the bigger ones can be a bit harder to do it with, but they do still work, quite frankly, just like how intended, obviously. And there you go, very, very simple idea, as you can see then there. And yeah, it just makes life a little bit easier for your people overall. Like, obviously you can get some quite awkward shapes, maybe one or two you may not be able to do it with, as you can see. So for instance there, I can't do it, but everywhere else on that roundabout I can. Pretty simple, and there you go. So that's our roundabout idea then done. Okay, that's how our roundabouts will line up, okay, then here. So yeah, that's more or less that done. Now, one of the things I think that could be quite good for roundabouts is obviously installing maybe a set of traffic lights at each. So you want maybe interjunctions or some, you know, traffic lights. So a traffic light system makes it a little bit easier. So then cars, you know, can take it in turns to go. Okay, pretty clever system that is, obviously, to use traffic lights. Yeah. And you'll soon see how this all comes along in a minute, where you'll see it's very good for traffic and for yourself. So there we go. I think that's that done, if I'm correct. So there is more or less our city. Okay, that is literally it. Now, obviously, okay, there's our map. Okay, again, it'll be very, very easy. You'll soon see. For, you know, laying down, let's say, bits and bobs. Very, very good for traffic flow. Okay, overall. And the thing is, this is probably more easier than the battery to develop overall. More easier to expand, because all you have to do, effectively, is place a roundabout anywhere. And I'll show you what I mean by very easy to expand. Okay, it's not too difficult to expand the city now in this shape. It's probably the most easiest, quite cost effective as well. Probably a lot more cost effective than what we saw. So let's now lay down our roads. Okay, so these roads are going to be two-way, quite decent size, decent gaps between them. I think we'll do residential over here. Okay. I think maybe if we do a one-way road, yeah, one-way road, maybe the halfway out there, then to about there. That looks okay. Then here, we're gonna do more or less the same, but we're gonna do it so like that. Then here, do that. A little bit out of line, and just see now where this all takes us. So as you can see, you've got some one-way roads. Then there. So over here will probably be housing, schooling, and education. Over here will be probably shops and maybe a little bit of industrial. We'll soon see. But you know, first we need to get obviously housing on the go. You know, overall. So yeah, it don't really matter. Trying to line it up so it's nice and neat. I guess it don't really matter too much, so long it looks okay. Line that up to there, line that up to there. Now, just so that nicely aligned. There we go. So there we go. That is more or less that. One final bit needs to be done here, I think. Do that, and maybe two more. So obviously we're getting this sort of grid system here, as you can see. And yeah, it looks very, very neat. It looks nice, professional, and smart. We've got 4 roundabouts. Now, the king of the roundabouts, I don't know whether you know this in terms of cities, is Milton Keynes, in fact. It's obviously one of the most, probably, roundabout cities in the whole of the world. We're going to take it a bit more easier on water this time. Probably lay down about 5, maybe, actually 10. So how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So got plenty of water. We'll have than that. Pretty simple. So again, very easy to lay down. Maybe a little bit more difficult to lay down piping, more so than maybe normal. Overall, that's because maybe it's a bit bigger, maybe in terms of its structure, and it's a bit more of an awkward shape, but it's still very, very easy to lay down your piping structures. You know, do something here just so all the water will go. As you can see, small mistake there. Could just deleted some of that piping, but you know, didn't want to. So this should be the last bit of piping we'll need, and sure enough it is. So as you can see, then that is our city fully covered in the piping. We don't need any more piping. Again, for here, we're going to use obviously some basic electricity. Wind turbines, very simple, probably only need 3 to power that, and there we go. Now we got water going into the city. Right, I'm going to do something clever here. It's a bit of a trick, okay? And eco-friendly, let's call it, power, okay? Pretty simple. You can either have it on the residential side or the non-residential side. I'm going to have it in the non-residential side, and as you see, okay, this is where it's clever, okay? As you can see, it spreads just perfectly into the residential side. So where we want to put our first houses, we want to make sure our first houses are built along Todd's Even Street, okay, or the closest to this, the better. Okay, it does take up a fair chunk of room, so you're going to have less businesses and buildings, but the good thing about this, it gives you a lot of power, okay, and it's very, very efficient, okay? Right, healthcare. We're going to have, again, a pretty clever system of healthcare here. We'll probably put our healthcare somewhere closest to the roundabouts. So, have maybe 2, maybe, so about 4, I think, yeah, 4, 1 on each side. We want some healthcare to do some, let's say, obviously, people also in the centre of town, as well, just in case anyone needs the healthcare. We'll have 1 major hospital, I think we'll put that here. Okay, so 1 major hospital's there, overall, and graveyard here, and I think we'll have 1 graveyard there, so making sure we've got plenty of grave facilities, or hospitals and medical care. Okay, we'll soon sort out sewage, don't worry about that, folks. We'll soon work out. We're just plotting our city, so people, when they come to the city, they'll have all the stuff they need. Right, primary schools. Again, education, can't stress this enough, very important to have in city skylines. It's probably the key thing if you want to build a successful city, I would say, because obviously you want your citizens to be well educated, okay? When it comes to like universities, at first you probably don't need too many. It's mainly most important to have like your high school, your primary schools, or your senior education, as in your high school and elementary school, but it's not too important to plot a university. However, it is nice to have one, so, you know, I always plot a university police station. Always important to have a few police stations. I'm going to have 2 in this city, but obviously overall 4. So you can see 4 police stations plotted, so that should keep crime rates rather low. Firehouse, now obviously we're not going to have too much fire, probably just best put fire safety where it looks necessary. So, you know, it's probably a bit necessary over here, but otherwise, you know, not too necessary overall. So, obviously, as you can see, okay, stuff is looking rather okay. I think we've got everything plotted. We're not doing a public transport, because otherwise I would have laid something down now. Now we need to map our city. Now, at first probably don't actually have to do mapping, just need to set policies really, for how it's gonna go. So, extra installation, obviously don't need all of this, just put the ones you want on, obviously, that's the best idea. What I'm doing really is probably a bit stupid. Overall, to some degree, to other degree, no, it probably ain't that stupid. We actually do need that, so just do this. Paint, nice and big. That work from the inside, pretty simple. With painting, like your areas, obviously, make sure you keep it neat, or neat as possible. Always the best way to do that. Now, obviously, again, we're not going to be a tourist city, so we just need to make sure we've got all the right stuff in our city. And yeah, so one final thing we need: garbage and sewage. So, garbage, we're probably going to put garbage somewhere around here. Have like 2 garbage areas for our garbage, and we need, I think, well, we definitely need sewage. Going to go for the eco sewage this time. Have maybe 4 sewages. So as you can see, and you'll see how the traffic moves in a moment's time. once people start coming here to the city to live. And yeah, you will actually see how it all will work once now we start adding in people to the equation. And yeah, again, as I said, we want to place overall our population in this area. Now, if you're new to the channel, then please do subscribe. That'd be more than appreciated. And yeah, let's then go for and put some people in to this, hopefully what will be amazing city. As you can see, houses are starting to be built, so I think that's enough housing for now. Okay, electricity will spread. Okay, so do bear that in mind. So regardless whether people are like gonna be starting to live in these parts of town first, don't worry about that. Just relax, stay calm, give it a moment, because you'll see the electricity will spread like a wildfire. Okay, and everyone will hopefully be happy. Now, the main thing, obviously, and main focus of this is to show you how the road and the roading structure will work. So once we start getting some cars coming down here, I'm going to actually speed up so we can see hopefully cars coming down here into the city, hopefully very, very soon. Once we get some cars, people starting to live and moving into the city, yeah, it will look quite good. As you can see, plenty of buildings been built, which is good. Yet no people are here yet, but 21 people apparently have arrived. Net population is 50, but still very little cars. But as you can see, there are some garbage trucks. But soon as it comes. But right, if you have a look, these houses here at first didn't have any electricity. Okay, now already these houses are fully electric houses, and yeah, just waiting for some vehicles, yet none are coming at the moment. Hopefully some will come eventually. We've got to turn up somewhere. There's 189 people apparently now living in this city. Sounds like a city. Just waiting for cars to come. Hopefully the game's not glitching, because that could be a problem if it is. Let's see if there's another roundabout where hopefully there's one or two cars. Any cars? It does work, this, don't you worry. Right, here's some cars, as you'll see. Right, as you can see, cars go exactly where they need to go. You see that? Very, very simple. So these cars all need to go left, they're going left. And they're using that bypass to do exactly that. Okay, so there's no one right now that needs to go straight, so there's no need, guess what, to go straight. It's fairly, fairly simple, you see. And again, these cars, they need to go, well, I don't know why they're doing exactly that, using these roads as a roundabout. They probably should have gone a bit differently, actually, there. But sometimes that could happen early on, okay. Traffic will go where the popular route, but as you can see, look how easily the traffic's all flowing, because there's no need to slow down. Okay, as you can see, traffic can, well, they're not colliding with one another, are they? They are literally all going at the same pace. There's no need to slow down. Okay, even here, even though it's pretty busy right now for whatever reason. Oh, forgot to install some electricity down here. No wonder why there would be complaints, if any, which ain't great. But again, as you can see, electricity moves around quite nicely. You know, don't worry, them symbols just mean sewage. As you can see, problem solved quite quickly, fairly quick overall, and yeah, you know, pretty simple. So now we can probably start, you know, focusing on elsewhere. Now, So really the city's been set up. That is literally it. And you can see the roads do work, as you can see there. Okay, not so many people use the middle. Okay, they'll go literally where they need to go. Okay, they use these outer layers as really bypasses. The middle layers, you could say they're right now a bit pointless, but they will be, trust me, when we need them, they will be absolutely fine. So yeah, you know, no need to worry. Obviously, the motorway is probably the toughest bit actually right now, because actually the motorway is in a bit of a weird pickle, this segment here of road, but otherwise it's okay, as you can see, and it works. That was the whole point, okay, of this video, to show you it works. Okay, it's not particularly busy right now, okay, but when it does get busy, trust me, okay, you'll say it works. This design layout, sometimes it could fail, but most of the time it will work. Cars will go where they need to go, and they'll use the roads properly, okay, for the majority of it. And yeah, also a good thing, main roads are main roads, they're quite nice and large, so that always helps out with traffic. They're not any bus routes, so obviously that's always going to help if you are, well, needing it. And the side roads are side roads, so effectively less traffic, less roads. And this is why it's important to structure your roads correctly. You shouldn't want to be using your side roads or your smaller roads as, let's say, main roads. You want to use your side roads as side roads, your main roads as main roads. So we're going to now add in a bit more housing, and probably, yeah, a bit more housing. No need for offices yet, so gonna spread again that housing situation, just like a wildfire. You know, electricity spreads very, very quickly. Obviously, all up here is going to be really just residential, and yeah, you know, obviously that's good. Now, one thing you can do is put also stuff on the roundabout. It never hurts to do that, actually, in this game. It don't slow down traffic, don't affect traffic at all. So yeah, you know, we're gonna do that, show you what it looks like with stuff on the roundabout, as you'll see soon, which is pretty cool, to be quite honest. And there you go, now you're seeing then these roads starting to be used as main roads then here, and everything starting to be how it should. We're going to now add in a bit more, well, a bit more business as well. Maybe for every square inch of, let's say, you know, for every, let's say, square or few blocks of housing you do, you could do some business, let's say, so keep things a bit balanced. Offices, they come later. You know, this is where people, well, people will work all over really, but, you know, it's where people will work, you'll see. But yeah, you know, you can actually see how good this traffic system is. It works, keeps traffic flowing, and that's what you want. Like, you don't want your city traffic having collisions with your, let's say, residential or business traffic sort of thing, or let's say your outer city traffic. As you can see, like, you only want vehicles to go where they need to go, and that's what a lot of people fail to do in this game. They forget that. They forget to put roads where, you know, obviously vehicles need to go. Sometimes it's also best to lay out your roads first. Now obviously the building that we're going to knock down here is the only reason why we're maybe knocking down once again some of these buildings is, see these yellow symbols? What that means, okay, that there isn't enough workers. The blue one means there isn't enough intelligent people to hold down that job. So, you know, that's one thing you want to be aware of at first. But I don't mind knocking down buildings, you know, especially early on, okay, because they will come back. So long you keep these people here, you're not knocking down houses, everything's good. It should be, because your citizens will learn, they will get educated, okay, and yeah, you know, obviously that is what you want. But as you can see, I think we can say that again, this mini city has been a fairly decent success overall, okay, because as you can see, okay, it has worked, okay, the road layout, and that was the whole point. It was the road layout that we were focusing on. As you can see, again, look, as you can see, businesses, not businesses, houses on the roundabout. So I know, roundabouts with houses, pretty awkward that is, but, you know, as you can see though, as I'm saying, you know, it does work, this system. People go where they need to go. It's good to have the traffic light system, as you can see. So, you know, we could turn this into a main road to help with traffic flow, but the reason why it's a small road is because, obviously, I want to keep it, not too compact, but compact enough, so obviously we don't come across this situation where, you know, but yeah, you can see it works. It does genuinely work. People go where they need to go, and yeah, it is a success to that degree of what a success is. Yes, okay, at first, as I say, the only reason why we're knocking down buildings, as you can see, there's a lot of buildings now to be knocked down, abandoned buildings, but the only reason that is because there isn't enough people yet in the city to cope with the demand for work, okay? If there was enough people, trust me, in the city to demand the work, obviously we wouldn't have to do that. It would be a very, very much happy city. But, you know, obviously, there's too little of people. There's only 1,665 people, I think, yeah, in the city. And, yeah, it does work to that degree. In terms of educated, we can get them statistics. But as you can see, look how quickly the city goes from 0 to 1,700 or whatever. Very, very quick already. Birth rate obviously low as you'd expect. Death rate probably 0. Tourists 4. Right, available jobs 1,800 right now, just below that. You know, so there's less people than jobs. And quickly, just go back to that statistic panel. Quickly, I just want to show you how many educated people there are. Right now, where's education levels? Here we go. Education levels, not even a level 1, we're barely at 0.6, so you can see what I mean then there. There's not enough people to cope with demands for work, nor is there enough education qualities right now in the city overall. So yeah, you know, you can clearly see it does work, okay? Obviously, when you build a city this big, okay, to start it as it like this, there are going to be problems, okay, let's not hide from that, but it's very, very good, okay. How quick will our fire service respond? We'll see. It's on fire, doctor surgery. Already, well, that was a quick response, actually. So, fire service already responded pretty quickly, I have to say, not too bad. That building is still very much a usable building. That's not going to collapse anytime soon, really. But yeah, very, very good. You see, pretty sure that was a doctor's surgery, if I'm correct. One of the doctor's surgeries we placed. I'm pretty sure there's another one. Yeah, it is. But yeah, you see, very, very good. If you need, let's say that fire service to work very, very quickly. I think that was our fire service, or one of the schools. Not too sure. No, there's fire service actually. Confident about that one. And yeah, there's the hospital, as you can see. Very good overall. So yeah, it is a very, very decent mini city, should I say. Plenty there, as you can see. Plenty of decent buildings. Buildings getting now put up. As you can see, very nice fashion, very nice buildings as well. Plenty of them. Yeah, I'm quite pleased. It's a decent city. Now, it's not down some of these, so that gets rid. Now, obviously, over time, it'll balance out. You know, to the point where you don't need to knock down these buildings anymore. Let it balance out. Give it time to balance out, okay? Because probably that's the worst thing you can do, is not give it enough time to balance out the situation. Okay, if you keep it on expanding your city, you're just not going to really allow it to balance out. You could just add a few more houses if I wanted to over here, but, you know, look, probably, I bet you, not even half of them are full. Let's see how many of them are actually full. So, that's got 5 households. This has got 8 out of 9 households. Okay, but 26 people uneducated right now. So that's pretty full. 9 out of 10. So yeah, there's still quite a lot of households still yet to be fully full. Some of them are full, but quite a lot of them still have like another apartment or 2 apartments. Overall, yeah, there's a lot with a few households where there's more room, certainly inside, 100% than there. That needs 3. This needs 2. That needs 1, so 2, 0. If we go further up, I imagine the town probably be even worse for situation. 7, 8, 6. So yeah, none of these really are full, really overall. So as you can see, so there's still a lot of houses to the full. Some of them hasn't. See, this one hasn't even got anyone into it yet. As you can see. So, you know, overall, it's not, you know, necessarily about hitting major success early on. Okay, in terms of here, like, you know, so, yeah, you know, it's quite interesting, them stats. So the best thing you can just do is now, you can just let the city settle down. And just look how good traffic's flowing, overall. You can really see that it does work, this system, this layout, this format. Traffic flows quite nicely, overall, for each individual sort of part. I know it's not a full city yet, so you can't see the city in all its glory, but you can tell that the traffic flow does work. In fact, just to show you how good the traffic flow is, let's go to info views. So this shows you what we've got. So our entire city has got electricity, great, you know, and the electricity production, okay, is 274. The electricity consumption is only 48 watts. So most of our city, realistically, is, well, it's covered. In terms of water capacity, or, you know, pumping capacity, well, we're easily on top of that. Got a million free cubes worth of water, sort of thing. Fire safety is 17%, so it's quite low the hazard. Crime rate 4%. Right, university, we got 4,000. That 2,000. So yeah, we got enough elementary schools and high schools. Really, most likely. I would like to say, so it's pretty decent. We got enough, I would say, then maybe we could do with a few more, for sure. But at this moment in time, not really looking at that. Happiness, so residential happiness, 97%, that's very good. Commercial happiness is going up. Obviously, office happiness and everything else is sort of, well, it's on 0, but, you know, we're pretty good than that. Leisure, so this is really just about what's in the area. Value of money, obviously, as you can see, that's how much our land is worth. Right now it's pretty poor, well, it's not that great worth value of land at the moment. Import products, obviously. Export products is 46 right now, apparently. Don't know where we're getting them export products from. But you can see, okay, everywhere, just have a look, okay? Tiny bit red there, so maybe here we could maybe rectify it slightly, but everywhere else, okay, is 93%. Now, you know, the only place right now that is maybe a little bit perky at times is here. So at worst, it's going to be 92, okay? I'd say at the worst, it's going to be probably 80% at worst. But the only reason why it's maybe that low there, okay, is because of the traffic light system. If we actually removed it, let me just show you what removing traffic light would do. Probably, it could make things actually better, removing the intersections. Let's see. will it make it better? Let's have a look. If we remove some of these intersections, so you're basically giving that priority, and yeah, it does. It makes that, as you can see, a little bit better, a little bit more easier. So obviously those going straight or left have no problems, but then that clogs up that bit down there a little bit to a degree. So to a degree, you're going to always have maybe a little bit of it, but as you can see, okay, yeah, I've got a lot of buildings to knock down here in the centre of town, but yeah, as you can see, okay, it does work. You can see that over here, where it shouldn't be busy, isn't busy. Where you would expect a lot of traffic, has a lot of traffic, as we would expect. So, yeah, you know, it's got, obviously, things then there, as you'd expect, of a city of this size, you know, and, yeah, that's very, very good in my opinion. And this has been a success. So, as you can see, roundabouts do work in City Skyline. In real life, it's always a debate, I think, you know, whether or not roundabouts work. I personally, am I for roundabouts? Probably not, no. Am I against roundabouts? No, I'm not either. So, I'm sort of 50-50 on the idea of roundabouts, even in real life. I think roundabouts do have their benefits. However, there are drawbacks to roundabouts. I think they are more dangerous. If you're looking from a safety aspect, I think the more you control the traffic, the better. But from a driving point of view, I think they are quicker, obviously, because it means you don't have to stop, wait for others, really. You just have to make sure you're confident when you're going into them. And that's what I mean. They are more dangerous from a, also, safety aspect. Because, obviously, you know, you've got to feel confident going onto a roundabout. You can't just, you know, drive into the roundabout without really having a good look and without having that confidence. If the confidence ain't there to go onto the roundabout, you'll most likely have a crash, especially if you do it on your own. But that's what I'm trying to say. So obviously, roundabouts are certainly important. In the game, you don't have to worry about, obviously, whether or not these lot are going to crash, because obviously the answer is no, they won't crash. But as you can see, success, I think, that is overall. And on that note, it's time to end today's video. So if you have enjoyed today's video, then please make sure you do hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. And until the next time, have a good one, folks. Take it easy.